Now, Dave is 64 years old, and his methodology cannot be used anymore. It's time for someone younger and more fresh to come in the scenes and give new, fresh advice, because that old advice does not work for us anymore. It does not work for millennials. It does not work for Gen Z. It only works for boomers.
Now that's not true. I'm a millennial, and his advice does work for me. I have a saying, right? This is just my saying, my belief, and this is something that I always tell myself, especially when I'm learning new information, especially when it comes to finance. Is if you broke, you shut the fuck up. If you broke, you shut the fuck up and you listen. And a lot of things that Dave Ramsey says is fundamentals. That's the key to Dave Ramsey. It's the fundamentals. You do not need to agree 100% with what he's saying. The man is older, so he's not going to be talking about cryptocurrency and things like that. He's going to stick to things that worked for him. That's it. That worked for him, and not only worked for him, worked for millions and millions of people. Now, his system, the baby steps and whatnot, you might debate on some of them. Baby step one is save $1,000 as an emergency fund. He acknowledges $1,000 is not enough, but some people get caught up on that. But most of people in society cannot even save $500. So to tell someone you need to save $6,000, $7,000 as an emergency fund, to some people it feels like it's never going to happen. Now, of course, Dave Ramsey's goal is in the future to get there, but in the beginning, $1,000, and we all know it's true, is not enough. But for majority of people, they cannot save $1,000. So Dave Ramsey's plan, it does work. It does work. Depends on the type of person you are and where you're trying to become financially. But to me, Dave Ramsey's steps is level one. You follow his steps, you try to get out of debt, especially credit card debt, and do not pay off your student loans. He says that, but you don't need to. You don't need to pay off your high student loans. You don't need to even do the debt snowball. You could do the avalanche, which is the highest interest rate to get rid of your credit card debt. We all agree to that. We all agree to the fact of having high credit card debt is a bad thing. But the problem is, man, with finance, it's about just getting some of the information from someone that is useful and then thank you and just move on. You don't need to do every single thing that he says. So that's why I don't agree with saying that Dave Ramsey doesn't help millennials, because he helped plenty of millennials. I mean, plenty of millennials he has helped. He could help him as well if he pays attention. But obviously, this it sounds like maybe I'm judging. He's trying to find a shortcut, which so many people are trying to do. They just want to get rich, right? They have credit card debt, all the student loans, all these financial issues, and they just want to get rich, and they want to strike it with like crypto or something. That's just the way a lot of people think. But this whole Dave Ramsey bashing, I don't know. You guys let me know how you feel, but I feel like the man's on the air trying to help people out. Why are you gonna hate something? Why are you gonna hate something that is if it doesn't work, then why are you hating on it if it doesn't work? It's obviously working if the man's still on air. It's just my opinion.
Let me tell you why. See, Dave wants you to pay everything off if you have money to do so. Back in 2020, you could buy Ethereum for $100 a coin. Let's say you had $75,000 laying around, but you had a $50,000 personal loan that you were paying $800 a month on. Well, according to Dave, he wants you to take money from that $75,000 and pay that loan off entirely. And let me tell you why that's a bad idea. Let's say you just put $20,000 into Ethereum back in 2020 and you held on to it for a year later. This is going to blow your mind. That leaves you with 200 Ethereum tokens. Do you know what happened November in 2021 to Ethereum? It went from $100 to $4,800 a token. Do you know the math on that? If you don't, I'm about to tell you. That's $960,000, almost $1 million. You're a millionaire.
And you also become a millionaire if you would have bought the right lotto ticket. A lot of people, okay, he's saying a very specific scenario. A very specific scenario. For anyone who bought that crypto, he was saying XRP, I think he was saying. For anyone who bought that, then of course you made out. But I admit it. How many of us heard about that? How many of us knew about that? I never heard of it. Okay, I never heard of XRP, and no, I should put down 40 or something grand into it. You see, everything is, hindsight's 2020. It sounds easy when you look back and say, man, if I would have done, you know, let me think of it this way. He in his scenario, he saw about, oh, if you have like an $80,000 loan or $75,000 personal loan. Hindsight 2020. Think about it. What if I would have never had gotten that loan? Right? What if I never had gotten that loan? What would I have been doing with all that money? Right? Maybe I could have put money in the S&P 500, or maybe I could have bought Tesla stock, or maybe I could have bought Nvidia stock. You see, there's so many things that you say you could have done and you wish you would have done, but that doesn't make Dave's advice bad. You have to handle your business eventually because yes, he's talking about what he's talking about, the crypto, and of course some people did pretty good on crypto, but you got to get lucky when it comes to that. Like you have to get lucky, and the thing is, every single day you're there sitting there with your debt. You need to pay it off one way or another. You need to pay it off. You're spending all that money in interest. You need to pay it off. Now, I would say this: not all debt, right? Not all debt needs to get paid off. If you have a student loan that's below like 6%, okay, whatever. Get your 401k match, start investing because I don't agree with Dave on that, which is to stop putting money into your 401k account because to me, the match is 100%. That's debatable, but you know what? It's personal finance. I'm going to do what I want to do. But his advice in general, paying off debt and focusing on your finance is key. It's key. I'm not going to say everything he says is trash because I don't agree with something. The man's helping people out. You have to respect that.
Now, if you would have listened to Dave, you probably wouldn't have had that money to invest anymore because he's telling you to pay this, pay that. Oh, don't invest. You need to stop investing and you need to focus on this debt. That does not work anymore. And I want to end this by saying I am not a financial advisor.
Obviously, not a financial advisor. Debt is debt. Debt is debt. If you have debt, you gotta pay it off, man. It's as simple as that, right? It's as simple as that. Listen, I got some books back there. I read a whole bunch of financial finance books. I don't do everything that they say. Sometimes I read a whole book and check this book out. Old school dude, Jim Rohn, old school. I read the book and then it says 7 strategies for wealth and happiness. And I'll read this whole book and I'll probably like only 2 of the strategies. Actually, I only like 2 of the strategies. I don't think Jim Rohn's a horrible guy. I'm not gonna bash him, but there's 2 concepts I got from the book that I could relate to and has helped me out financially. Thank you. Right. Well, I don't have to just bash Dave Ramsey because he's old. And it's funny because he also said, I have to add this. He said in the video how we need someone younger. Whatever. Okay. You want to see someone younger. I get it because the image and the person delivering the message, it might relate to you. But when it comes to personal finance, everyone says the same thing, right? Which is, spend less than what you make. It's the same principle stuff that people say. And of course, now people are like, well, how are you supposed to do that? Everything's expensive. Okay, but everyone says the same thing. Everyone says the same thing. Listen, guys, I want you to be rich. I want to be wealthy. I know it sucks because it takes too long. I know we live in a society now where everybody wants things to happen so fast. But the quicker you try to get to wherever you're trying to get to, you're gonna just hit so many things, man, so many traps that's gonna bring you right back down and might put you in a situation where you're worse. Listen to Dave Ramsey. I love his stories. And sometimes, to be honest with you, I love the Dave Ramsey show, not really because of what he says, because of the stories. A lot of the stories that come from that show is very relatable to experience that you may be having. The debt-free screams just get you even more excited to want to keep on going. And hearing the stories of people struggling and how they overcame it, that's the beautiful thing about the show. Take his advice if you want to put it to the side, but listen to the people's stories. It's just awesome, man. It's really motivating. Don't bash him. When it comes to personal finance, the guy is giving you advice for free. You pay nothing, you listen, you get entertainment, you take some advice, you don't take others, but the whole time though, it keeps you in this mindset of focusing on your personal finance, which is he does really good at. By all means, go ahead. And I would admit this. I listened to him for a few years, got all my information, got all my knowledge. I don't listen to him anymore, and nor do I miss him. I've moved on to a whole different level where I don't need to take his advice. But now that I've moved on to another level, doesn't mean that I could crap on the fact of all the knowledge he gave me and all the entertainment that he gave me. Right? I have no right to bash that. That's just my opinion. You guys let me know how you feel about Dave Ramsey. Do you feel like he helped you out, or do you feel like what he just said? He's just trash advice, horrible. Don't listen to him. Drop a comment down below, guys, because I'd love to hear it. At the same time, hit the like, leave a comment, and subscribe. Peace.